the Public Safety and Protection Committee Annual General Meeting. My name is Oliver Harrison. I'm from Democratic Services, and I'm here to temporarily chair the meeting until we get to the agenda point to elect a chair. So before we begin, I just have a few things to say before we get to the formal agenda. Firstly, the formal legal standing of this meeting. The meeting is being held under the local authority of police and crime panels, coronavirus, flexibility of local authority and police and crime panel meetings, England and Wales Regulations 2020. So to take account of these regulations, Bristol City Council has produced a set of virtual meeting procedure rules, and these are available on our website for members of the public who want to see them. This means that the decisions made by the committee today will have exactly the same standing and validity as if they'd been made at the meeting in City Hall. Can I ask members of the committee to ensure that your sound is muted when you are not speaking, and after you have spoken, please remember to mute your sound again. And if you have any questions during the meeting, please use the raise hand function that's available on Zoom, or indicate physically raising your hand on the screen. So do we have any questions from councillors before we move on to the formal agenda? Yeah. Okay, good. So first, welcome to safety information, which we've done. In terms of apologies, we've had no apologies received. Declarations of interest. Are there any members that wish to make a declaration of interest on any of the business that we're going to consider at this meeting? Okay, good. And then public forum, I can confirm that no public forum has been received for this meeting. So we move on to the first substantial item, which is the annual business report. So this one that sets out. So first of all, item 1 on this is to confirm the membership of the committee. So the recommendations are to note the following council members are appointed to serve on the committee, which is 5 Labour members, 2 Conservative members, 1 Green and 1 Liberal Democrat for the 2020-21 municipal year. And can I just confirm with members that that list is correct? Yep, okay. And also at this time, we're conscious that we had until recently, a dedicated member of the PSP committee and Councillor Mike Langley. Unfortunately, he passed away a few months ago. And just to note that we are sorely missing him in terms of the good work that he's done on this panel. And we're thankful for Councillor Johnson to stepping in to cover his role. So that we move on to election of the chair. So we need to elect the chair of the committee for the municipal year 2021.
Could I move Councillor Bakersgill, please?
And can I have a second?
Second it. I'll second it.
Okay, very good. So Councillor Bakersgill has been elected as chair for the municipal year 2021. So can I ask Councillor Bakersgill to now take control of the meeting and continue on the agenda. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm just that minute managed to lose my report pack. There we are. Okay, so the next item is the election of the vice chair. So do we have any nominations for vice chair? It says on here it should be a Liberal Democrat.
Sorry, Councillor Davis.
Okay, thank you. We have a nomination for Councillor Davis. Is everybody happy with that nomination?
I'm happy to second that.
Okay, thank you. And is everybody happy with that?
Yes.
In which case we elect Councillor Davis. Thank you. Terms of reference. The recommendation is to note the terms of reference agreed in the Constitution, which are attached as Appendix A to the report. So is everybody happy to note the terms of reference? Take that as a yes. Code of conduct. We asked for this to be explicitly put into the papers. This was agreed at the main council meeting on the 21st of May, and it's Appendix B in the report. But it is very detailed, and it does talk in a lot of, a lot of detail about the way we should conduct meetings. And I did read it very carefully because I think there is quite a lot in that we do need to note and we do need to actually read. So can I just confirm that everybody has read and noted that code of conduct? Yeah, thank you. Okay, we need to go on to subcommittees now, the election of subcommittees, appointment of subcommittees. So we at this point we just the recommendation is just that we have two subcommittees as we've done before, A and B, using the terms of reference in Appendix C. Is that agreed with everybody? Yeah. Okay, thank you. The complicated bit is the membership of the subcommittees. So there are two different options. One is that we have a unanimous agreement of non-party political balanced subcommittees. So in previous years, we've agreed that the two subcommittees don't have to be politically balanced, so that all members of this committee, the full committee, can sit on one or other of the subcommittees, because it did end up with, I think Fee ended up having to sit on two committees all the time and it got very complicated. So that is one option, that we have a non-politically biased subcommittees and that members of either subcommittee can substitute for each other on a non-political basis. So that's option one. Option two is that we stick to a politically balanced subcommittee. And if we do that, we'll need to work out exactly who goes on to both. So can I take option one first? So I do we do need to have a vote on this. So if we can, maybe if people can raise their hands if they agree that they want to go with a not politically balanced subcommittee. If you could raise your hand on the participant hand function, or on here. Right, some people are raising their hand on here and some are doing it on there, but I think everybody's raised their hand in some form or other, so thank you. So I think we've agreed that we'll carry on then with a non-politically balanced subcommittee. So we then, in that case, don't need to look at option two. So we now need to decide the 5 members of the committees, and I'm hoping we can probably have the same as last year. So if we do continue with last year, does anyone object to last year's? Need to change? No. Okay, so if everyone's happy with last year, is Oliver able to read out the subcommittee A members and subcommittee B members? Or am I going to have to try and remember?
No, I'll do it. Just bear with me.
Lovely, thank you.
So sub A will be Councillor Brooke, Jones, Pickersgill, Tinknell and Whittle. And sub B will be Councillors Davies, Eddy, Hunt and Johnson. Okay, lovely. So that was recommendation 2, that the committee agrees which members sit on each of the subcommittees. So I think we've agreed that, and everybody's clear that anyone can substitute for anybody, so that we make sure we get a quorum for each of the meetings. Okay, so number 7, we've got dates and times of next meeting. So the recommendation is that we confirm the dates and times of the meetings for this municipal year. This is the full committee today, and we're then going to follow it afterwards with a subcommittee B, and then we're alternating A and B throughout the year. We do have more committees this year than we had in previous years, but we're still playing catch up a bit with the outstanding cases that we couldn't do when we were in lockdown. So is everybody happy with the recommendation of dates? Yeah, lovely. Okay, thank you.
Ruth?
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you. I'm very happy to be sub B. However, because I came in at a late stage last year, I have a clash today, so I won't be able to stay with you after the AGM. Apology.
Okay. That's fine, thank you. I think we're still quorate, so there are enough members, so thank you for that. And we do appreciate the fact that you've come in substituting, and that's great.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Right, so public sector equality duties we don't need to worry about. Right. I need to find the agenda again now, because we're going back to the agenda, and we're on the DBS service update report is the next report. So this is Emma presenting this report. So would you be able to take us through it, please, Emma?
Thank you, Chair. Morning, everybody. So basically, back in February, we brought a number of reports to yourselves about changes to taxi policies, and one of those was in terms of the fit and proper person policy for taxi drivers. So the main change was in terms of bringing in the DBS update service, but as part of that, in terms of the current fit and proper person policy, there's a table at the back of the policy which says if people have expired, what they need to do, and it's centred around the DBS and whether they need to do a new DBS or not. There's some other things in there, but that's the main thing. So in the draft approved in February, the draft was to remove that table. So basically, in terms of expired licences, it would go back to they'd need to do the DBS update service, etc. So obviously the policy consultations have been delayed slightly because of a number of things, but we've started to pick up this work again. And when we were developing the questionnaires with the consultation team, it was apparent by removing the requirements for expired licenses, actually it wasn't as clear in terms of what drivers that have expired need to do. So what we're proposing, which is in the report, and I'm sorry for all the appendices, but I wanted you to know what the current policy was, what the policy approved in February, and what the draft policy is. So in effect, what the draft policy that we're presenting today is that, if I can just read it out to you. So it says, the draft policy says expired licenses. In the event a private hire or hackney carriage driver licence expires, the following applies. For applications submitted less than 12 months from expiry of the previous licence, the applicant will not be required to complete the gold standard or knowledge test if they have previously completed this requirement. If the applicant has not yet completed the gold standard training, they shall be required to complete this by their next renewal or grant application. So that's slightly different than the current policy, but we did speak to the chair when we were drafting this. And what is apparent, and I know it's been raised at a number of committees, is that we need to get more drivers attending the gold standard. So that's why that's been built in. The other two parts of it are for applications submitted 12 months from expiry of the previous licence and over from expiry, the applicant will be treated as a new applicant. That's as the current policy at the moment. So that basically just means that after 12 months, they'll be treated as a new applicant. However, and where an applicant is submitted, where an application is submitted by a driver who still holds a hackney carriage or private hire driver licence, the applicant will not be required to complete the gold standard or the knowledge tests. So again, that replaces what is currently on the policy, and it was just to make it a bit clearer for drivers, and obviously it would mean that less things where someone's expired, they wouldn't need to redo it and keep coming back to yourselves for their application. That's the main summary of it. Does anyone have any questions?
I think that's very clear, and that's certainly in several subcommittees recently. We've had drivers who are wanting to who have just expired or nearly expired or whatever, and it's been a bit confusing about whether or not they have to do the gold standard and everything else. So I think this helps to make it clearer. So yeah, I'm very happy with it. Does anyone have any questions or comments? Nope. Okay, well, the recommendation are, first of all, that we consider the information in the report, which we've done. Secondly, that we delegate authority to the licensing manager to consult on the draft, because this is only a draft. And we're going out for the full consultation on the fit and proper person, which is all the work that we did prior to lockdown that needs to now go out for consultation because it was all put on hold and we couldn't. And the third one is to bring a report back to committee once we've done the consultation, and then we can actually agree the policy changes. So is everybody happy with that? Yeah, lovely. It's so strange with everyone so quiet. Right, okay, lovely. So the only other thing we have to do today, thank you for that, Emma, is to agree the minutes of the meetings. And we had all the minutes of the meetings in the original paperwork, but my understanding is we don't have to agree them all, and that we just need to agree is it just the AGM ones we have to agree, Oliver?
That's right, Chair. It will just be the previous AGM that you'll need to agree, because the subcommittee minutes are now agreed at relevant subcommittees, yeah. So they were included in error.
Right, so we're looking at the minutes of the 11th of June 2019. So is somebody able to propose, who was there, that they're a correct record? Well, I can propose they're a correct record because I was there. Is anyone able to second? Thank you, Councillor Eddy. So has everybody agreed that they're a correct record? Okay, thank you. And the rest of them we can note, but they've already been agreed at previous subcommittees. I think that is the end of the meeting. Yes, that is the end of the meeting. So thank you, everyone. It was a nice quick one. I'm not sure what time the subcommittee's meeting is. That at 10?
11, Chair. Is
11. Okay, so you've got a break, and then it's subcommittee B is meeting at 11. So thank you very much, everybody. And I'll see you next time we have a subcommittee A. Okay,
Thank
bye.
you.